And good morning. Welcome to the VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner on a very hot Tuesday, the 12th of August. Morning, Paul.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
All right. What should we kick off with today? Let's kick off because it's very exciting. It's only 5 days to go to my Mexican trip. So let's start off with Guanajuato Silver, and they've done some more fundraising, Paul.
Well, it's the final tabulation on the current fundraising that's been underway for some weeks now. Final tabulation, they have taken in $18 million Canadian, priced at 30 cents a unit. They had to roll back the allocations on the participants because it was way oversubscribed and they didn't want to issue any more shares than what was being called for to get that 18 million. So well done to those guys for sure. That sets them up very nicely for some of the improvements they wanted to get um, uh, undertaken and completed to boost the production rates there at their mines.
I think it's very good news that I have plenty of money to entertain me when I start their mine, Paul. That is a joke, by the way. Anyway, it's also just worth noting of the 4 companies I'm going to go and see, which obviously are Avino, Luca, Sierra Madre, and Guanajuato Silver. The performance year to date, Avino's up 330%, Luca up 200%. I mean, phenomenal performers. Don't say we didn't tell you. Sierra Madre's up 57% and Guanajuato's up 73%. So it does look as though maybe those two are the ones to buy at the moment. We'll see. Let me go and see them and I'll come back and tell everyone what they should be doing. Right, moving on. Again, going to sort of yesterday's news, but coming out this morning. Bit of a fireworks at the old Goldstone Resources AGM yesterday. Authorities not being given, directors not being reappointed, people attending being looked in for insider dealing. It was all go, Paul. Give us your angle.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting there. There was some angst about whether or not from amongst shareholders in some weeks prior here about having Angela List on the board, and they did vote against her in this case, so she's off the board now. And Campbell Smith appointed as interim non-exec chairman. They also didn't pass Resolution 7, and that was resolution to allocate up to or increase the shares by 50%. The share increase is all about trying to get further funding in to boost the production rates for the Homasi mine there in Ghana, as the shareholders learned at the meeting that it only produced 215 ounces in the month of July, with the low-grade ore being in the mining sequence moved to the heap. So this is not the kind of performance that we want operationally out of Homasi in order for it to make money. And I think that's what the shareholders are most concerned about now at this point.
I did actually go and have lunch with one after he'd been at the AGM, and he was not a happy boy. I mean, today it's off 40% today at 0.325. It absolutely has fallen out of bed. We wish Emma the best, but it's going to be very difficult. And Angela List is very powerful in country. She may have been kicked off the board, but I don't think that's going to necessarily take her away from the asset. Anyway, we'll watch this space with interest. Well, for those that are interested in it. Right, what else, Paul, would you like to talk about today?
Should talk about Atalaya Mining's Q2 results. A key point there is they have raised the copper production guidance, and they have lowered their production cost estimates for the year as a result of the better performance that they're getting now and the higher copper prices. Revenues for the second quarter came in at 124 million euros. Copper production in the second quarter, 13,200 ounces. Or 2 ounces, tons, excuse me. And the recovery rates were 76.75% on the ore grades being treated at 0.42% through the first half in copper. So the guidance update is for at least for full year 2025, at least 49,000 tons of copper to be produced. So that's a slightly higher number. really from the prior number, but the costs are also expected to come in at $3.10 or no worse than that, and that's an improvement on the $3.20 prior low end on the guidance.
Yeah, okay. It's also maybe worth just mentioning Franco Nevada. We've talked a little bit recently about royalty firms being a very good way to play the mining space, but they had Q2 results yesterday and beat analyst forecasts.
Yes, they sure did. Adjusted net income up by 65% from a year earlier to $1.24 per share, which is an all-time high for them. And the revenue actually just blew the top off, up by 452% year over year to $369 million. Declared a quarterly dividend of 38% a share, which will be paid at the end of September. And the gross margins increased to 73.6% for a gain of 5 points on a year-on-year basis. So things are hitting on all cylinders there at Franco Nevada. And Barrick Mining also reported yesterday and also beat their analyst estimates as well.
And talking of things going pretty well, we talked earlier in the week about tungsten price going through $500. Almonty, which is TSXV, also on the NASDAQ though, it was very strong again yesterday. It's now up nearly 400% year to date because of the tungsten price. And it's now, if you look at some of the other tungsten players, they're completely out of line actually with what's happening with Almonty and with the tungsten price, probably particularly EQ Resources. When you think it's got two producing assets at Mount Carbine and Solaro in Australia and Spain, so there is some form of arbitrage or something that somebody should be doing there. Anyway, just point that out. Anything else, Paul?
That's all for today, I think.
All right, and I think I've got Ollie tomorrow, so we'll look forward to that.
Very good.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.